My Honda gxv530 engine has no spark. I disconnected the stop diode lead from each coil and there is spark when I crank the engine. I replaced the stop diode and still no spark, either coil. The engine is on a Hustler Mini fastrak. Could the relays be an issue?
Can you guesstimate how old the engine is? And has it done anything like this in the past?
Mower, engine is 8 years old, 267 hours. No issues to date, just stopped dead when I was mowing last Friday.
Do you plan on doing the work yourself?
I'd like to if I can identify the problem.
Anything else we should know to help you best?
I checked the safety switches, seat switch, all of the relay contacts are clean, no corrosion, wires are seated home in their connectors, battery is strong, spark is strong with the diode leads disconnected.
Hi, my name is will be assisting you. It sounds like you may have a low oil sensor that is shutting down the ignition. It has to be something backwards in the system that is keep the ignition grounded, and the first thing that I would look at is the oil level and the oil sensor switch.
Oil level is just above the line on the dipstick and is only 17 hours old. Is it possible to test the oil pressure switch?
You can own the switch to ground and see if you find any issues. You could unhook the wire going to the switch and see what happens as well.
I unhooked the wire from the switch, still no spark.
What happens if you leave the stop diode unplugged from the main wiring harness rather than the ignition coils?
I have spark on the plug.
What color wire attaches to your oil pressure switch?
It's a yellow wire.
And do you have an oil pressure light on the control panel?
The red oil alert light on the instrument panel is not working either.
Okay, let's move away from the oil pressure switch as being a possible problem. I have looked at some wiring diagrams for the Hustler machine with a Honda engine, and as far as I can tell, the oil pressure switch would only light the indicator light. It would not kill the spark on the engine due to the way that it is wired into the system.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking at the wiring diagram as well now. What about either the start or kill relays going faulty?
As I see it, the start relay can't be bad, otherwise the engine would not even crank over. All of the other safety switches have to be okay, otherwise the engine would not crank over either. I would assume that you have checked all wiring for any broken, grounded or shorted wires at this point. It could be the kill relay, it could also be the ignition switch internally creating the issue. The relay can be determined pretty easily by just swapping the relays in location. If the ignition still will not spark with the relays swapped, or if the engine will not crank when swapped, then you know that the relay is a problem. Otherwise, I would suspect the ignition switch itself to be the problem.
I'll try the relay swap now and get back to you.
Okay, that will be fine. Let me know what happens.
I swapped the relays in location, engine wouldn't crank, pulled one of the relays, would have been the kill relay I think, off the harness, and the engine cranked and sparked without it. The relay I pulled off the harness would have been the original start relay if my interpretation of the wiring diagram is correct.
Then I would suspect that the relay is bad and will need to be replaced. The relay is nothing special and you can normally pick one up at just about any automotive parts store.
I'll get a pair just to be sure and swap them out one at a time, let you know how it goes.
That will be fine. Feel free to come back here and continue our conversation at any time. Thank you, it has been a pleasure to assist you. Please take a moment to rate your experience using the star rating system that is provided.
Hi John, Installed 2 new relays and connected the stop diode back in circuit, engine cranks but no spark again. Without the stop diode in circuit it starts and runs, but I can't stop it with the ignition switch, just let her run out of fuel. I'm thinking the only thing now is to swap out the ignition switch. Any ideas?
From what I can see looking at the wiring diagram, the ignition switch is the only other thing that could cause the problem. It sounds like it may be contacting the ground internally when it shouldn't be, causing it to keep the ignition from firing.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/ythi.